Okay, so we're going to do something a little different tonight. We wanted to start rotating in some different experiences for you guys. So in the same way where we've been doing a game every single week, we thought, man, it'd be cool if when you came on a Wednesday night, you didn't quite know what the experience was going to be. So this week we're going to kick this off, and what this is an opportunity for someone to share their testimony. Tonight we have Jen. She's an amazing leader. Some of you guys have her. If you don't know Jen, you want to know Jen. She's amazing. And as Jordan's been talking about last week, he talked about, man, so much of what makes Jacobs Well students great and amazing is these leaders who come and love you guys so much and invest their time into your lives. And so we wanted to give her a chance to kind of say, hey, this is who I am. Now I want you guys to know that this is something we're going to be doing like once a month, and we want to get you guys up here. So I think it'd be amazing to have students come up, share how Jesus has worked in their life, how he's moved in you. Maybe it's a story about you've been reaching out to your one life and you've been sharing your faith with somebody at school. And maybe it's going amazing and it's a story where we can celebrate with you. And maybe it's been really hard. And every time you've reached out and every time you've made an attempt, it hasn't gone quite the way you want it to. And then together as a body, we can pray for that and we can be there with you guys. So this can be a cool opportunity. If you are ever interested in sharing your story on a Wednesday night, come talk to me, okay? We'd love to get you guys on a rotation. But without further ado, this is Jen Rees. She's got an awesome story. Let's give up all of our attention.
All right, hey everybody. So yes, I am Jen Rees. I actually have, I'm taking Shua's game, the 2 truths and a lie, okay? So I'm gonna say 3 things about myself, and I want you to guess if they're true or not. Okay, so the first thing is, I was a pole vaulter in high school for track. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I started running marathons because I started coming to church here in 2007. And the third thing is, I'm married to John, and I'm a mom to Matthew and Nicholas. All right, so which one do you think is a lie? Any guesses? Number 1's a lie? 2 is a lie? All right, actually number 1 is the lie. I was a distance runner when I was in high school. But yes, I am married to John. He's my husband, and my kids are Matt and Nick. You see them up here on worship team. I enjoy watching them up here. I'm the crazy mom in the audience that takes their pictures with a flash on, and I hear about it. It's by accident. I didn't know it was on. Okay, so the second thing about me starting running marathons. So we actually started coming to church here in 2007, and there was a small group called Soul to Souls. Okay, like sole of your shoe to souls. And I started going to the small group. It was Jessie Podalik's small group. And she got me connected with a friend who lived in Chippewa. And she said, hey, come and run with us in Chippewa. So I did, which is where we live. So I did. And by golly, wouldn't you know it, within 3 months, I ran a marathon. So Jacobs Well started my marathon running. And actually, I've run many marathons. And just want to share with you, those of you who are athletes, how you can actually use your sport to glorify God. And one of the things that I do is for each run, I write a Bible verse. I pick out a Bible verse, I write it on a piece of paper. Can you tell I use this one? It's kind of all ratty, and it was sweaty and wet at one time. Not anymore, but so what I do is I pick out a Bible verse, I write it on a piece of paper, and I stick it in my pocket. And as I'm running, which I have plenty of time to run on a marathon because I'm slow. But as I'm running, I pull out this verse. When I'm challenged, when I'm really struggling, I pull out my verse and I recite it. And I've learned a lot of Bible verses this way. The other thing I do is I sing worship songs while I'm running. Because, you know, it's kind of like a tempo, you know. So like Running to Your Arms, great running song. If you ever think about that, just as we're singing it sometimes, just think, could I run to this? Because it's a good beat. So, but that is how you can actually, that's just a little tip on how you can actually help build your faith while you're doing something sporty and fun. Although not a lot of people think marathon running's fun, especially John. John doesn't like running marathons. All right, so I've actually been involved in, I started in children's ministry, and then I moved to middle school, and then I moved now in high school, and I've actually been walking along this path with our youngest son, Nick. And, you know, it's been a blast. I honestly can say it's been so much fun. And it's just such a cool thing to be a part of this and to get to know the people that he knows, his friends, and for me to build friends here as well. I want to tell you a little bit about my life before Jesus. So I grew up in Black River Falls. Who knows where that is? Most people, yeah, it's just not too far away. And in my family, we actually didn't go to church. And I was confirmed, so I had to go to church for a confirmation. I got confirmed, but then as soon as I was done, I stopped going to church again. And when I was in confirmation, we had this awesome youth pastor. So, like, you guys, we have the best youth pastors. Honestly, they're the best. I hope you guys realize that they have energy and they have devotion and they have commitment to you, and they just pour their hearts and souls into you, and that makes the biggest difference. It did for me. This youth pastor was really influential in my life. And but I never really learned or grasped the concept of having a relationship with Jesus. So something else about me is I'm a people pleaser. So especially super close to my family. My mom and I were best friends, and basically all the choices that I made about, to do things, whether something was right or wrong to do, I did it based on what would please my parents or what would please my teachers. And so that was my moral compass at that time. I was pretty performance-based, and I don't know if you guys, if any of you is like that, but so I was one of those like go-getter, get-her-done kind of people. I worked really hard in school. I was a cheerleader. I was president of pep club and Spanish club and all that, yada yada. That sort of stuff. So I was really involved and did a lot of stuff. And now fast forward, I went to college, and I went to physical therapy school, so I'm a PT. Well, PT school is super competitive. Those of you guys preparing for college, super competitive. And so my life was studying and just working on getting the grades. And again, it was all about performance, right? So fast forward to I was a senior in college, struggling. I had no social life. I studied all the time. My friends were from the library. Really? Okay? It was pretty sad. It was just a struggle. And I had this beautiful soul who was in my PT class who invited me to InterVarsity. So InterVarsity is an organization on campus. And I went to InterVarsity. And by the way, that's actually where I met John the first time. We didn't date in college, but that's where we met. So it was at InterVarsity where I actually first learned what it meant to put your trust and your faith in Jesus. And so what happened was on August 5th, 1995, I went to visit my parents. I was 23 years old, and I was pretty much overwhelmed. I was transitioning to adulthood. I was out of college. I had my own apartment. I basically felt like I had to transition to an adult. And so I was kind of breaking free from my parents, which was really hard for me, and moving into becoming my own person. And my mom and I had a pretty serious disagreement, and as I was driving back to where I was living, I was at my bottom. I was at my end. I was just torn up and felt like I couldn't meet all the demands. And I just cried out to God, and I was in my car, and I prayed for Jesus to save me. And I have John to thank for that, because he's the one that really explained to me what it meant to be a follower of Jesus when I didn't really understand it prior to that. When Shua asked me to come and do this, I said to him, well, I didn't become a Christian until I was a young adult, and you guys are you guys are middle school and high school. But I guess my point with this in sharing my story with you is just to know that there are different phases in your life, and just knowing that Jesus is there to guide you and support you and be there for you is just gives you such a huge sense of peace. So my life since accepting Christ, the biggest change is really that I realize that I can't do it all. I really can't. I can't do it all on my own. So actually my verse that I have on this wrinkled up sheet of paper is from 2 Corinthians 12, 9, and 10. And it is, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. For when I am weak, then I am strong. I know that no matter how hard I work, I can never do enough to earn his love. Or I can't work my way to heaven. And that Jesus did all that for me. I have a lot more peace now. When I make important decisions, I pray and wait for the Holy Spirit to tell me what the best choice and the best decisions are. And then I can rest in that and find comfort and peace in that. So, why did I become a student's leader? Woohoo. All right. Well, first of all, because I was there kind of walking alongside Nicholas, and I loved going to JW Kids with Roxanne. I got so much out of her messages. I really did. I honestly did. So initially volunteered back in Waterworks to be there with my kids and help them learn about Jesus and walk alongside them on their journey. But, they're old enough, they can drive themselves here, but I still come. And now John comes too. So the reason I do it is, number one, I really believe God wants me here to serve. I honestly believe that. The second thing is I love seeing students' lives changed here on Wednesday nights and also at camp. I had just the biggest honor of my life walking alongside a student as she accepted Christ at camp this summer. That was just an amazing experience, and that's why I wore my camp shirt. Y'all got to go to camp. Camp is awesome, okay? The third reason I serve is because I'm really grateful. I really am grateful to walk alongside you students on your journey. This is your journey. Everybody has their own story. That's why we're calling this Tell Me Your Story, because everybody has their own story. Now, because I'm a parent, I also know and fully appreciate how important it is for students to have adults in their lives that they can trust and go to with things that are hard to talk about. You may not want to talk to your parents about things, but it's important to have a trusted adult in your life to do that. And I am honored to be available to be that kind of a person. We have had numerous adults in our boys' life who has been so influential and instrumental, and I am so very grateful for them. And so I want that honor. I appreciate having the ability to do that and being there for students. So I want to finish with an ABC. So A is ask questions, okay? Just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't know, okay? B is be here. The only way you build a relationship is being with people and spending time with people, right? So this goes to small groups. Small groups are such a great way to get to know people, get to know leaders and other students. And C, go to camp. All right, thank you.